I'm William Wells, and today I'm talking to Irwin Arnold. Irwin, tell us about early days and where you were born and raised.
Born and raised right north of Plano, out by Rowlett Creek. I was born in 1916, April 23rd, and then when I was 9 months old, my father moved south of Rowlett Creek on what was U.S. Highway 75 then, only it was a mud road, and it is Jupiter now.
So that's where the Civic Center is now.
That's right. The Civic Center is on the south corner of my daddy's farm, in other words. You know, I was out north of town. I was 3.5 miles north of Plano, and you were 7 miles out of Plano this way. But and we not no communication, like I say, until we started school. We really didn't know each other.
That's right. We both started at the same time in first grade in Plano.
He was sitting in front of me in the first grade, and he had been to Prairie View, which was country school down here a little bit, and he knew how to make his figures and knew his ABCs, and I didn't even know my ABCs or figures.
I'd forgotten that. I was a little smarter than you were at that time. You caught up pretty quick, Irwin. But let's visit a little bit about our school days in Plano. Of course, we started in the old building.
That's right.
And we're speaking of these buildings. It's where the Cox School is there, and it used to be the administration building.
The old school building that they tore down when they built that was sitting just a little bit further back to the west on the ground. In other words, this one was built a little closer to the street, and that was when we was in the first grade that they decided to tear it down and build a new schoolhouse. So just before school's out, I would say 2 months, 6 weeks, something like that, that we moved out, and some classes went to school in the different churches, and some, the high school went to school in what was the auditorium then.
First we went to First Baptist Church.
That's right. In the first grade, we went to the First Baptist Church.
In that old building, did you ever ride down that fire escape? Did you go down?
No, I never did.
I wondered about that. I was a little too shy. I was afraid of that thing.
About once a year is all they would open it up and let the kids ride down it. And I never did ride down it.
I remember when, we've talked to people, and that was one of the highlights of school, but it was kind of like a slide, and you start in up the top, and you just swirl down.
There was two on that schoolhouse. There was an old one that was open, and it just slid down.
I didn't remember that.
And they had built another one, and it was kind of in what we would call a round cylinder.
Yeah.
And it come around. Now, my brothers had both rode down it. My oldest brother, he liked it.
Yeah, it's like a fun thing, but we were just in the first grade.
They've made a lot of slides lately. Well, I mean, you don't go to some of these places, you pay money to ride down them. It's about the same thing.
Had a lot of characters. Just recently, we had our 60th anniversary. We all graduated in 1934 from high school, and there's a good many of them still around.
There was 14 of them that was there, and 14 that has passed away, and there was 9 that wasn't there.
Wasn't there, still living.
Yeah.
But people seeing this tape will not realize that you didn't have refrigerators those days. You had an ice box.
That's right.
Even you'd have to somebody bring you some ice, and that's the only way you cool it.
Yes.
They also had an ice manufacturing plant in Plano.
In Plano, they had an ice manufacturing plant.
Oh, I remember that ice plant.
Yeah. They was delivering ice with mules there in Plano, and they'd come along, and they had one pair of mules. Of course, they'd worked them for years. I mean, boy, just get out, and they'd stand there, and then they'd come out, and they'd go, and the meat markets, like when C.J. Hayden, which ended up as Bill Hedgecock's grocery store, when they put in the meat market, Yeager's had a meat market that was nothing but a meat market.
Yeah, I know that.
And then they started putting meat markets in with the grocery stores. And this old boy was the guy, whoever was hauling the ice. I mean, they might stop there and they'd carry 500, 600, 700 pounds of ice in there to put in there to cool that meat down. And then, at one time, Jack Bowman, which he was Henry Bowman's son, and they was breaking a new pair of mules, and every so often they would run off. They'd leave them stop there and get out and put the ice in. They'd run off and have to go catch them. But that just went along with it.
Also, I bet you remember, I expect your mother, and you put milk and stuff down the well.
Well,
we did. Grandma did.
I mean, a lot of people did, but that's one thing my dad would not allowed it to be done. He said he didn't want no milk or nothing to get in that water.
Yeah, well, every now and then it'd turn over.
Important. And, we're talking about carrying ice. I mean, in other words, used to tell on Dr. Mitchell's, Bottle Mitchell, his son, you know, he died young and all, heart attack, but said he used to put this ice on the back bumper of a car a lot of times. Even though you melted a lot of it going home, that was the handiest way to take it home. She went to the ice house and got this ice, and they said that he got this 100 pounds of ice, and they laid it on the back bumper, and he got home and he run in the house to get the ice hooks to put this ice, the ice box. He got out there and gone. He'd lost that 100-pound block of ice.
One thing that might be interesting is when I got on my Army in the fall of 1945, and of course I'd just come directly from Germany, and lo and behold, that the gin, the co-op gin, who my brother was helping run, they'd used a lot of the POWs out of the McKinney. They was up there in the old hospital. And they may have had a camp in Princeton, too. I don't remember.
They did. It's still there.
It's still there, the old camp?
I mean, some of the old camps still there.
They were hauling them down here and paying them a minimum, whatever, you know, if they picked cotton. And, of course, the government got the money, but it wasn't a lot. But there's a whole bunch of them. And some of them were real craftsmen. You know, there was all kinds. And we kept up with them some. And they were pretty good workers. And when the Americans got over into Europe and began to liberate our prisoners, and of course the Germans had starved them to death, they were skin and bone. And so they started starving these POWs. They wouldn't give them good rations in retaliation. And John was working, my brother, he knew Sam Rayburn. Sam was pretty powerful in Washington. John wrote him a letter, and he told him, said, we feed our mules. And it wasn't long, they started giving them full rations. And I run across one of these same people, he's dead now, one of the prisoners in London once, and he gave John the credit for getting them back in full rations. But they were, for a month there, they were really squeezing down on them. So John was buying food for them with the gin, and you got to where you liked them, you know, they were nice people.
They are.
It's been a pleasure for me to talk to you today, and I'm real glad to be your friend. We've been friends now for 70 years almost, and we hope to make it a few more years.